sisters.
First of all, I want to say I'm so glad that Susanna's back home and back in Linden, Michigan. I miss her terribly for the 4 or 5 months that she's gone, and I don't understand why she feels the need to leave when we're deep in snow here and she's in sunshine there. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it's not the snow I mind. It's the days like today, the gloominess.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to be back too, Betty. It's good to be home, but it was a wonderful time, and I miss my wonderful friends that I have in Florida. But it's time to get back to business here, and so we're together for our first episode back home. Today we're just going to talk a little bit about cast iron skillet cooking, and we have a couple of skillets here. Betty's brought hers, a small one and a large one. I think probably the first thing you want to talk about, if you had to have one pan, it should be an iron skillet. You don't need anything else.
You can really do it all in an iron skillet.
And
they're heavy.
They're heavy, but
it's
that's
worth
the
it.
charm. And if they're well seasoned, they'll act just exactly like a non-stick pan.
Yes.
But Betty, you want to talk about seasoning and getting it to the perfect. You just don't go to the store and buy.
Right. Well, and when you go to the store and buy it, it will say pre-seasoned. That means the manufacturer has done some seasoning to it, but not enough. So what you need to do then is come home and wash it. You have to wash it with soap and water, and then you dry it with a paper towel. Then you grease it or oil it, or whatever oil you're going to use. You can use Pam, spray it, olive oil, rub it in, vegetable oil, rub it in, all around it. Then the instructions will tell you to put it in the oven upside down and bake it for like an hour. Then you let it cool, and it's the start of your seasoning of it. The more you use it, the more it seasons itself. The more oils you put in it, the more it seasons. After you've done that, and this is my small one and my big one, when you're stacking them in the cupboard, they suggest that you put paper towel between them so that because they do scratch, and that you don't oil the bottom of your top one with that, because it can be kind of smelly on your burner. But now Suzanne and I both clean differently after we cook on it. When I cook on mine, I wash it with soap and water, and I get all the grit stuff out of the bottom. Then I re-oil it, and I put it back in the cupboard, just dried. I'll wash it, dry it, put it on the stove to burn it dry. You never want any moisture left in it. Then I put oil of some kind, let that dry, and then I stack it in the cupboard with this and with paper towel in between.
And I don't use much soap ever on it. I clean it out with the Brillo pad or whatever, get all and use hot water, maybe on occasion a little, but then I put it on a very hot burner for quite a while, so it burns it.
You re-grease it then?
I don't usually re-grease it. On occasion, I will add a little, but it's so well seasoned at this point. And I might suggest, I think instead of going into the store and buying one, to an antique shop or a thrift shop, a resale shop is a place to get them, or an estate sale or something. That they're already seasoned. Somebody's lovingly used them for years and years. Yeah. But we're going to show you in a few minutes. We've just, in my fry pan, which I think was my grandmother's, I've roasted a chicken. And to me, and I think you'll see some of the cooking experts say, there isn't any other way to roast a chicken really than to just throw it in the fry pan.
I agree.
And what I did was to take this whole chicken, put olive oil and seasoned salt and pepper on the outside, threw a couple of garlic cloves, a little onion and seasoning on the inside, and put it in. I panned a little bit. I didn't use oil on the bottom. I panned it, but then of course the chicken was oiled, and put it in the oven at like 405 degrees for about an hour. And I'm hoping, if everything goes right, it'll be a golden brown.
Oh, I'm sure it will. I don't know of any time it hasn't been. You can also, your well-known steakhouses and chefs use these to do the best steaks in the world.
Ah.
And they get it as hot as it can be before they throw that steak on it, and it just, then you turn it, and you have your rare steak done. But or you can set this on your grill. We grill with this.
Well, and the other thing is, if your steak is thick and you've seared it on the outside, you can then slip it in the oven for a few minutes. But it's the only way to do a steak inside, as far as I'm concerned, is in that cast iron skillet. Cornbread, of course, that's a very southern thing to do your cornbread in the skillet.
Hashed brown potatoes or boiled potatoes that you've had left over from your dinner the night before, and you put a little bacon grease in there and maybe a tablespoon or two of butter, and you slice up that potato and you let that brown in here. There is nothing better.
Every kitchen should have a cast iron skillet.
Now this is the big one, and it's heavy to.
Yeah, they're not light.
They're not light
for the But I oftentimes will take mine out of the drawer to put it up on the stove to do something, and then I'll clean it and I'll leave it on the stovetop, and I'll use it for 2 or 3 more meals before I clean it and put it away in the drawer again, because you can just do everything.
Our grandmother did that. Every time you walked in, that stove had that. I don't think it ever got put away.
Well,
Setting on the stove was that.
Yeah.
Now, I hope you all took note when Suzanne said, I think it was my grandmother's skillet.
Yes, I was the oldest child.
I didn't get the skillet.
Well,
she got the skillet.
I'm just thinking it was grandmother's.
I'm just thinking because you were the oldest, you got it.
But I wasn't the oldest grandchild. But anyway, whatever. It has history, and it has a lot of love and a lot of wonderful food that's been cooked in it. Well, Betty, shall we go out to the kitchen and hope our finished product there helps us with our salesmanship on the iron skillet?
Yes, let's do that. And tonight's dinner is a nice roasted chicken.
That's right.
Okay, let's head out.
You can see how simple it is. As I said now twice or so, I just rubbed it with olive oil and some seasoning, and put it in the oven, 405 degrees for close to an hour, and it's just golden brown, and I hope pretty darn lovely.
It's beautiful. And you'll take note too, when this chicken comes out, there's not really anything sticking on this well-seasoned generation after generation
cast iron skillet. Yeah. So don't be afraid to use it. Don't be afraid to go out and buy one. And if you find one in an antique shop, snap that up.
Because that's usually the best one.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. Good to be back together again.
Yes.
So I'm Sue.
I'm Betty. We're the
Smith sisters.